Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to lesson 2. The topic is chemicals of life. The subject is biology. And we are looking at the inorganic chemicals of life. And we want to start with the mineral ions. Remember, in the previous lesson, we looked at water as one of the inorganic chemicals of life, where we looked at the functions of water, but also the properties of water. And I left you with an assignment of relating the functions of water to their properties, and I hope you did it. So in this lesson we are going to look at the mineral ions. And remember, the body has lots of mineral ions that are constituting different molecules that support life, as you can see there. So I want us to start by looking at the roles of minerals and ions in biological systems. So welcome to this lesson. The first role is they are components of some small molecules in the body. For example, phosphorus is contained in ATP, adenosine triphosphate. As you can see there in the structure of ATP, there are 3 phosphorus molecules that make up ATP. And then you have another ion called iodine, which is contained in thyroxine hormone. And of course, you know this hormone is produced by the thyroid glands. So some of the small molecules in the body, like we have seen ATP, thyroxine hormone, and many others, contain these minerals and ions. Secondly, they are constituents of some large molecules. For example, we have the proteins. You know proteins very well as bodybuilding foods. And those proteins contain nitrogen, sulfur, and sometimes they even contain phosphorus. So as you can see there, the structure of amino acids, where you see the nitrogen ion as a constituent of amino acids. And then also phospholipids contain phosphorus. As you can see down there, the structure of phospholipid, where phosphorus is very much a good constituent there. Nucleic acid as well contain nitrogen and phosphorus and even sulfur. So large molecules in our bodies contain these minerals and ions. Thirdly, they are components of pigments. Yes, pigments in our bodies. For example, hemoglobin, which we know very well as a carrier of oxygen in the red blood cells. And then also the cytochromes in our bodies contain iron. Iron is a central atom in the structures of these molecules. For example, you can see there the structure of hemoglobin contains iron in the center. Chlorophyll, which is found in plants, we know very well chlorophyll traps sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. It contains magnesium ion. So we can see that these minerals and ions are components of pigments, both in animal systems, in plants, and other organisms as well. Number 4, they are metabolic. Yeah, what is a metabolic activator? It is a compound or a molecule that speeds up the process of metabolism in the body, or a metabolic reaction in the body. For example, ATP activates glucose before it is broken down in cell respiration. You remember the process of glycolysis very well, where ATP plays a key role in the process of breakdown of glucose. Yes, calcium ions as well activate ATPase enzyme during muscle contraction. As you remember this very well in locomotion, that in the process, in the mechanism of muscle contraction, we have the calcium ions playing a very key role. Number next, they determine the osmotic pressure and water potential so that it does not fluctuate beyond the narrow limits. For example, sodium ions, potassium ions, and chloride ions are involved in water balance in the kidneys. You know very well that in the kidney nephron there is always a reabsorption of water. Yes, the amount of water lost the amount of water retained in the body must be the quantity must be able to serve the purpose in the body. So therefore, the kidney has to regulate how much water is lost through urine and how much water is retained in the body. So in that mechanism, sodium, potassium, and chloride ions play a very important role, as you saw that in homeostasis. They are also constituents of structures in the cell membrane, in the cell walls, the bones, enamel, and the shells. You know very well that in the structure of the cell membrane we have the phospholipid bilayers, which of course contain phosphorus. Yes, you know very well that the cell walls as well contain cellulose. You know the bones contain calcium. The enamel and the shells as well contain calcium and phosphorus ions, which make them hard and strong to serve their purpose. So these minerals and ions are very important constituents of these molecules, of these structures in our bodies. So thank you so much. The music is The Chariots of Fire by the London Symphony Orchestra.